something that seemed to get to me. I am back with a stolen identity.
Deadly Tarantula Girl coming to you from my private serpentarium. Tonight I'm debuting one of my silly little doggies. This is Zojo. He's 3 years old and he's been with me for I think it was 2 years this fall. And he is the half-brother to Little Mouse, who you've seen in the Mousy Moments. And he's a little bit more shy, but he is a beautiful, sweet dog. And he is really wonderful because he is a cheerleader for the channel. He's always helping us work. And he's very good at cuddling. So late at night, when our work is done, we've got a nice cuddler to make our evenings go nice and sweet. So, this video is what is the difference between pastel and black pastel ball python. So without any further ado, let's take a look at some snakes. This is a female black pastel, and I am going to encourage her to show her little face. This morph was originally created by Gulf Coast Reptile. And obviously with the black pastel, they do have darker markings with a high contrast. They're often a little more golden and they tend to have broken stripes on the dorsal pattern and other kind of unusual markings down the spine. Not a super exciting morph to look at, but some of the babies that these can produce are really brilliant. And Crash Site Reptiles tends to focus on a lot of the gray and black morphs that are really beautiful. And so he kind of really likes the black pastel, and he's into the higher end ball pythons with some of the real sooty grays and beautiful dark blacks. He likes the very high contrast snakes. And so black pastel is one of those genes that he likes to throw in. Most of his snakes are like 5 or 6 gene, but black pastel is a good one and it's an exciting one if you just want to throw some attractive colors. So this female is owned by Todd Tindol out of Carlsbad. She's with me on a breeding loan right now, and if I'm not mistaken, I think that she may be a mother soon, so I'm trying to be very gentle with her. This is a codominant gene, and so there is a super form where both the parents are carrying the gene, and what that looks like is just a very dark black pastel, which also is very beautiful because it has a nice contrast. So this is the black pastel, and I'm gonna go ahead and let her go back into her tank now. I managed to sneak into Crash Site Reptiles so we could get some footage I managed to sneak into Crash Site
Reptiles, steal one of his black pastels, and go, yay.
Did you hear that? Yes. So that means this guy's coming home with me. I've got permission from the big boss. So this is a super black pastel, which is what you get when you breed black pastel to black pastel. And that is a codominant gene, and you can just see you get a very beautiful dark snake with very minimal markings. And this is also this gene of the super black pastel is a key player in how you get a panda pied. So that's exciting because ultimately I would love to do that. This is a young pastel. This is a yearling that came again from Mike Holt at Crash Site. I'm a big fan of his, obviously. The pastel morph is a codominant morph. And from what I know and understand, and I hope this doesn't step on anyone's toes, I believe that the original creator of this morph was actually Greg Graziani, and it was originally called the Pastel Jungle. And Nerd got a hold of the genetics, and they basically started distributing it very shortly after. So there are a lot of records. People think that Nerd originally created this morph, and others say that Greg Graziani actually created this morph. So if anybody has more information, and by the way, both New England Reptiles and Greg Graziani are like superstars in my opinion. And if you guys ever want to talk to me, I'd be super down to have lunch or talk on the phone because I think you guys are really incredible. You might notice that this animal has very dark markings, high contrast. They have a very gold pattern. They have very clean underbellies, and it is codominant. Again, you can have a super form of the pastel, and so I have a super pastel here, and so that's where you have pastel to pastel, and it just creates a super light version, which these tend to darken up as they get older. Look at that head. It's almost just like a light creamy gray. It's really beautiful. So there's the pastel versus the super pastel. And the super pastel is a little bit younger than the pastel. You might see that she's a little bit smaller. And I personally really like the high contrast and the bright morphs. I really love what the pastel gene does. When you mix it with other stuff, it often really brightens up and makes some of your morphs very fiery and just absolutely incredible. I love the grays in the super pastel. They're just incredibly beautiful. In a codominant gene, so for example, if I bred this pastel to a normal, then half of the offspring would display this visual trait. With the super form, if I bred this female to a normal, all of her offspring would show the visual display. And so that's something really nice about the super form when you have a codominant gene. So that's kind of a guarantee that you're going to be getting morphs out of your hatchlings. Well, I hope you enjoyed seeing my black pastel versus my pastel. I'm sorry that I didn't have a ton of footage on the black pastel. She's been bred and I'm pretty sure that she's gravid, and so I wanted to be very conscientious not to harass or stress her out in any way. So I wanted to be very gentle. You know, having her out here on the table with all these lights and everything can be a little stressful, and so I wanted to be considerate of her during this fragile time as she hopefully enters motherhood. Anyway, this was a fun video. I do enjoy ball pythons. As I've said before, they are amazing pet snakes. One of these snakes was originated from Crash Site Reptiles, who is owned by Mike Holt, who is a really prestigious breeder. I recommend him highly. And the other one, I'm not sure where she originally came from, but she's beautiful and I am very honored to have her in my care. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what morph you would like to see hatching soon, and I'll catch you guys next time.